If you've just launched a new e-commerce site or your brand is at zero traffic, zero rankings, and zero backlinks, wondering what to even do first, you've come to the right place because I've spent over a decade doing SEO for e-commerce brands from small Shopify stores to large retailers with thousands of products. And today I'm going to walk through the exact playbook I'd follow if I had to get traffic to a new e-commerce site from scratch and turn it into actual revenue so you can copy the process. Let's get into it. Check the search demand before you build anything. So before I mess with the site structure, keywords, or content, I want to know if people are even searching for what I'm planning to sell. Because most new stores build the whole site first and go looking for keywords after, only to find out the demand they were counting on doesn't exist at the volume they need. So before any of that, I want to see what people are typing into Google, how many of them are typing it, and whether those people are ready to buy or just browsing. Now, the way I do this is by pulling search volume on the main category terms a buyer would use to find products. If I was launching a store selling running shoes, I'd look at terms like women's running shoes, men's trail running shoes, lightweight running shoes, and so on. And I want some legitimate volume on those terms, not just a few searches a month. I'd also separate buying searches from people who are just researching, because something like best running shoes for flat feet is a buyer comparing options, but something like how to start running is someone who hasn't even thought about which shoes yet. Answer at this stage is no, the demand isn't there yet. SEO can't create demand that doesn't exist yet. It can only capture demand that's already happening. So if the right searches aren't there, you either pick a different angle or build the audience another way first, like social or paid, and come back to SEO once people are searching for your products or your brand. Now, I'm going to briefly walk through how I would check search demand for a new niche, what tools I'd use, and what kind of volume you'd want to see before you'd feel comfortable launching a new store. So I'm just going to use one of my favorite tools, which is Google Trends. Google Trends is a platform created by Google, and I've got this plugin called Glimpse. So if you've not heard about Glimpse, it's a really cool add-on. There is a free version, but we do pay for the premium tool, and what this does, it enhances the Google Trends data. So you can see there's a number of different categories that show up already. It's a really powerful tool, honestly, because it combines Google's very reliable trend data in terms of search demand, which is more real time, versus like SEMrush or Ahrefs, where it relies on them updating their existing database in terms of search volume, and you have to wait for them to do that, whereas Google is more real time. So for example, the FIFA World Cup is happening right now. I'm going a bit on tangent at the moment, but you can kind of see over time that people are obviously more interested in it now. You can see that search volume growing. Going back to our example about running shoes. So let's say I do running shoes, that's the broad category term. We can actually see that running shoes are actually trending worldwide. So, okay, it's probably a good time to set up a store that does running shoes. Very competitive niche, however. You'd want to be a bit more specific of what you do. So, okay, if you're thinking about what products to stock, let me just change this to United Kingdom. Okay, bit of a flatter graph there. So 348,000 searches a month. So this is the Glimpse data. So it's enhancing the Google Trends data. So it's a nice little estimate in terms of the demand. And then you can also see if something is seasonal, and you can see for sure people, January, it's the start of the new year, they want to get fit and healthy. So there's a big spike in January, December, possibly because people are shopping for Christmas gifts, etc. And then you can see March, the spring heading into summer. There's a nice peak in April. People are probably getting ready for their holiday. It kind of gives you an example of that seasonality as well. We know for sure that running shoes is a popular category, and we certainly want to be appearing for this kind of search query if we provide this kind of product. Now, there's a number of different products that you can stock. What I love about Glimpse, it kind of pulls in the people also ask boxes that you might see. So if I search running shoes into Google, you see there's a number of different search results. I'm based in Nottingham, so it's going to slightly localize the search results possibly. You can see all the different stores that I might want to buy from and all the places that are near my location. So that's pretty cool. And so trail is a specific running shoe type that you might want to do. So let's go into that. You can see see the demand is also increasing for that, which is fantastic. So if you do trail running shoes, you have got a good opportunity to get a bit of traffic for this. But if you're a brand new store, I think you really need to dive in and get a bit more specific than this. So we're gonna use Google's autocomplete, and you can kind of see all the different ones that pop up, right? You got women, men, Nike, etc. So we are gonna open the store marathonrunningshoes.com. right? I think that's a good niche because I know for sure people are into marathons. So running shoes marathon, nice little niche, bit more specific. It's not too broad. So I know if I do running shoes, I want to build my category authority around marathon running shoes because it's broad enough but specific enough to get a decent number of searches a month. Let's say I dominate this category. We got some nice peaks in April and May every single year whenever there's a marathon going on. You can see by the seasonality, all right, I'm gonna get a good chunk of sales from January to April as we head into that marathon season. So I can kind of build my business around this in terms of the stock and what I need to have on the store. Potentially I might want to have complementary products that people can order from the store in the, I guess, low season months. And then I love the seasonality thing from Glimpse because it kind of gives you a flavor of why the interest kind of goes up and down. So it says interest in the keyword running shoes marathon peaks during the spring months, with the highest interest in April, likely due to the numerous marathons and running events scheduled in the spring, motivating people to purchase new running gear. The interest drops during the summer and remains low for the rest of the year, reaching the lowest in November, which might be due to fewer marathon events and less motivation to engage in outdoor running activities as cold weather approaches. I think that's pretty accurate. So that's just an example of how I would do it if I was, building a brand new store. I'm actually thinking about buying that domain right now. So by the time you watch this video, this domain may not be available because I think this is a potential good business idea for somebody who wants to launch a new Shopify store. Build the site structure around how buyers search. Once I know the demand is there, the next thing I do is set up my site structure using the exact words buyers use when they search, because how a business talks about its own products and how a buyer searches for them on Google and our platforms are almost always different. And if you build the site structure around the words you use, your pages end up targeting searches nobody's actually making. For a running shoe store, that means the top level might be men's, women's, and kids with category pages underneath each one for running shoes, trail shoes, walking shoes, and the products sitting under those. The way you figure out where the categories and subcategories should be is by going back to the keyword research from earlier in the video and grouping the searches by topic and how buyers describe them. The other thing that decides how well your site structure works is the depth of it. And the most common way new stores get this wrong is going too shallow or too deep. Too shallow looks like one broad shoes page with every product listed underneath. So buyers searching for something specific lands on a generic page that doesn't answer what they want. Too deep is when every product is 4 clicks away from the home page. So Google has a hard time finding and ranking the pages that actually matter. For most e-com stores, 3 layers is typically the sweet spot, and you want to organize it in the way that buyers think about what they're shopping for. So men's at the top, running shoes under that, and the individual products at the bottom. Going back to the example earlier around running shoes and specifically marathon running shoes, I'm going to show you exactly what a good site structure looks like. So now we are looking for marathon running shoes and the usual suspects showing in the ads. You've got AI overview and we've got all these different publications, but let's say we're so niche, all we do is marathon running shoes. Maybe we can start appearing for these kind of results. So I'm just gonna pick a random store, right? It's like Adidas, seem to be doing well. Obviously, they don't just do marathon running shoes, but what they've done really well, I mean, they've only got 2 products, so maybe they've not done it so well, but obviously they're leveraging their massive brand. But as you scroll further, they've got good imagery there. What they've actually done really well is they've put associated products. Remember how I talked about, those trends and, those peaks and, those dips. You wanna have a store that can kind of take you through those winter months as well. So, jackets, when it gets colder, they've got those running jackets, running leggings as well for sale, interlinking to all those different categories. So don't just think about the core product that you're likely to gonna wanna sell. You're also gonna wanna think about all those associated other products that you might be stocking. And remember that categorization, you certainly wanna have that deeper structure for sure. And you've got this wonderful copy as well on this collection page. What I'd probably add is maybe some FAQs, if you can. But if we go to this here at the top, you've got lovely breadcrumbs. So okay, let's go back a step. Let's go to running. So they've also got marathon running gear within here, and then they've got the topical marathon page here. which makes a lot of sense because they stock so many different products. That's why they've gone for that structure. And then they go back to the home page, which of course has a category depth. So that's quite interesting that they've categorized it that way. So if we want to go back to that section, you can see there's sports, and that's the main topical kind of page, which has all the different sports, including running. And then you've got the running category there. It's an interesting navigation, I'll be honest with you. I think because they do so many different products, dark runs, cold runs, warm runs. This is really good. So they've also thought about the audience and the types of environments that they're going to be running in. So this is really, really clever. Adidas, of course, I mean, they're pretty big in terms of SEO. I mean, they were the first proper e-commerce store that was appearing for my search. So they've clearly thought about their structure in a very deep way because they stock so many different products, not just shoes, but all these other products they want to sell. It's a really good structure, I'll be honest with you. So somebody there is doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Adidas. Really good example if you're a massive store. But if you're a really niche store, of course, I'll structure it very differently. I just want to go back to those search results. Runners need, so men's race and lightweight running shoes. And it also appears for marathon running shoes. So there's definitely a correlation here between racing shoes and marathon shoes. So that could potentially be another search query that you could do some research on. So race day running shoes, you can see that comes up. So when you are doing your keyword research and building out your categories, you may be able to target additional terms that are very closely related on the same page, which is exactly what they've done here. And they certainly appear for both of those kind of queries. I mean, what I would potentially add for these guys, because they're already appearing for marathon running shoes, they could appear a bit higher if they had marathon running shoes a bit more optimized further up at the top, but they've obviously gone for this one, which may be a higher search volume. Let's go back to trends. This one, I'm just curious. So race running shoes, let's see what that comes up with. Okay, so quite a bit of volume. That's worldwide. Let's go back to United Kingdom. That's where I'm based. Bit more sporadic, maybe more of an Americanized thing. Take this into account when you are doing your research. Your location is really important. So clearly you can see Americans love calling them race running shoes or race day running shoes. So that's interesting, but it's a nice little niche query that you can add and layer into associated terms that are very synonymous with what you want to go after. By the way, if you'd rather have SEO completely handled for you, click the first link below this video to book a free intro call with us. Anyway, let's keep going. Build a few pages properly before expanding. The next thing I do is resist the urge to launch with 50 category pages and 500 products. A brand new site has no authority yet, which means Google doesn't trust it enough to rank a huge catalog at launch. So if you spread your effort across hundreds of pages on day one, none of them get the attention they need to rank for anything. What I do instead is pick the 3 to 5 pages that will drive most of the revenue, which is usually your homepage, your top 2 or 3 category pages that target the highest volume buying searches, and your highest priority product pages. For each of those pages, I'd get the basics right before moving on. Your title tag is the most important on-page element, so it needs to clearly say what the page is and include the search term you want to rank for, because the title tag is what Google uses to understand what your page is about, and it's also the headline buyers see in search results. So if it's vague or generic, Google doesn't know what to rank you for, and buyers don't know whether to click. Your H1 is the visible heading on the page, so it needs to say the same thing as your title tag, because if your title tag promises one thing and your H1 says another, buyers click expecting one thing, see something different, and immediately leave, which tells Google your page isn't a good match for what they searched. Moving on to your meta description, which shows up under the title in search results, and it needs to answer the buyer's question and give them a reason to click, because if your meta description doesn't grab the buyer's attention, they'll just scroll past your result and click on someone else's, even if you're ranking higher than them. Now for the copy on your page, it needs to go beyond what the manufacturer wrote and actually answer the questions a buyer has, like why someone should buy from your store, your returns policy, shipping, and warranty. Because if your product description is the same copy and paste text every other store uses, Google has no reason to rank you over them, and buyers have no reason to choose you. And the last basic thing to get right is internal linking, where your homepage links to your main category pages using descriptive text like the actual name of the category, and your category pages link to the products underneath them. Your homepage should link to your main category pages, and those category pages should link to the products inside them. And when you link to a page, the words you hyperlink should describe what the page is about. So a link to your trail running shoes page should literally say trail running shoes instead of click here or shop now. Get other sites to vouch for you. The last part of this process is building your reputation outside your own site, because Google looks at what other websites say about you to decide whether to trust a new brand. The technical term for this is backlinks, which are just links from other websites put into yours. And for a brand new e-com site, this is the slowest part of SEO, but it's also what makes the difference between a site that keeps growing and one that never really gets any traction. Now, the two main ways to start getting those backlinks are press coverage and partnerships with the brand you sell on your site. Press features in publications your buyers already read produce links that do far more for your site than 50 low quality ones would. And the brands whose products you sell often have pages on their own websites listing where their stuff is available. So getting your store added to those pages gives you links from sites directly relevant to what you sell. Now I'm going to share a specific client story where we were able to get press coverage for a brand, and this has helped them appear more prominently for their main category search term, increase of course their rankings, traffic and revenue. So I'm just going to scroll down to their case studies. So as you can see, we've got wonderful case studies from a lot of brands that we work with, both in B2B and e-commerce. So for this particular case study, it needs to be updated, but what we've recently done is set their foundation, focusing on the technical architecture, improving their content intelligence. So in terms of how they're mapping their content, what kind of content they're writing, what types of pages they want to produce. And now we've moved into authority building, which is the system that I'm talking about now. So following an audit, we were able to increase their visibility for their main term, which is brick slips. And what we saw is that through the technical foundations that we set, we were able to get them from the bottom of page 1 to kind of about the middle of page 1. What we've recently started to do is do authority building following the 61% growth that we achieved for them. And this essentially is getting them into these high authority publications such as House Beautiful and getting a backlink back to their website. Now, this is something that's going to take some time for it to be really effective. But if I search for that main term, which is brick slips, you got the sponsored results there, of course, and you got a main competitor over there, and there they are around about, the top half of Google, just below the first real, I'll say, standard organic result. But of course, you got a number of different formats that shows, so they do appear in these formats as well. So again, with SEO, with organic, you obviously want to leverage all the other different channels that can complement organic, because as we know, ranking number 1 doesn't really mean ranking number 1. I mean, this is the first organic result, and you've got all these other placements that are appearing way above and are more prominent and are more visual than the classic organic search results. So you certainly want to leverage Google ads, maybe shopping ads, etc., to appear alongside the classic organic results. So yeah, just a few tips there. But yeah, over time, we're hoping to take that number 1 spot and definitely provide more revenue for them. But certainly, they've achieved a record growth working with us, and long may it continue in terms of the results that we're able to achieve for them. Those links to the homepage will feed into their category pages because we've got that nice deep structure that we've created for them around their collections, the types of colors that they provide, even the special brick slips for important places in a home that are really popular, such as the fireplace, which is one of the most popular places for brick slips. So we've got a lot of that rich content to support anything that we do from a homepage authority perspective that should filter down to the category pages. That matters a lot right now is being mentioned across third-party platforms, even without a direct link. You want your brand name showing up on review sites, comparison sites, Reddit threads, niche forums, and any other place buyers go to research before they buy. AI search tools like ChatGPT and Google's AI overviews pull from way more sources than traditional search, so the more your brand name shows up in those places, the more likely you are to get mentioned when someone asks AI for a product recommendation in your specific category. Now, if you're launching a new e-com site or just want help getting this sequence right for your existing website, click the first link in the description to book a free intro call with us. We've helped dozens of e-commerce brands turn organic search into a reliable revenue channel, and on our call, we'll talk through your niche, your search demand, and what your first 90 days would look like. So again, you can book your free intro call by clicking the first link in the description. And if you want to learn about the new rules of e-commerce SEO today, then check out this video next.